Welcome to our second MindUp seminar. And my name is Dr. Mindy Hong, and some of you I've met, and others of you I'm really excited to meet. I'm your new executive director of the foundation and the chief academic officer, which means that I want to make sure that the incredible and unique ICL experience is available to more students, and that we make your learning that much more relevant and helpful to you. And one way I think we're doing that is with the MindUp with Dido here, who is part of the Goldie Hawn Foundation. And he was so helpful last week, helping us to think about how our brains work, what we do in terms of our cognitive behavioral research that can help us to be successful students, athletes, and people in general, right? So I give you the floor, Dido.
Thanks, Mindy. I'm counting, so a total of 10 participants, which is awesome. Um, so how many students do we have? Um, you know?
Pardon?
Do you know how many students we have?
Yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students.
Awesome. That's an amazing group. 6 is all we need. So for the students who were there, if you were here last week, it's awesome. Welcome back. If you weren't here last week, welcome. So the first thing I'm going to ask, if possible, anybody at all who can have a camera on, please turn it on, because there's nothing more difficult than being like, all I'm seeing are first and last names. It's like, think about giving the presentation, for example, and you're already kind of anxious because you're going to present. Oh, look at all those faces. Awesome. Thank you so much. So those boxes actually give anxiety. So this is great. And I want to open by sharing why it's important for me to come clean about wanting to see people. If you were here last week, let me know. Put your hand up so I can see. Okay, perfect. Those who weren't here last week, that's okay. I'm going to start by reviewing what we discussed last time. This is important because, as I talked about last week, your brain has an emotional part that is called the amygdala. And that part of your brain is designed to perceive everything as a life or death situation. Everything. That means that when you're supposed to give a speech or a presentation on Zoom, for example, and you come and you don't see any eyes looking at you, or you see boxes, your amygdala starts firing, and it's telling you that this is a danger. It's telling you that the unknown, the not seeing the people, is as serious as a life or death situation. And then your brain goes into fight, flight, freeze mode, and you can't think anymore. So that's why sometimes you are prepared for a speech or a presentation, but then the second you want to start speaking, the words don't come out. So that's why I came clean, so that you can know that me seeing you guys actually calms my amygdala. So welcome. This is also going to be like last week, so more of a conversation. I have a few things to share, but mostly in smaller groups, we're going to dig a little deeper into conversations and then come back as a whole group. Quick review from last week. Everybody go like this with your hands. With your thumb inside and then close like this. All right, this is your brain. Your emotional brain is the thumb, and this is your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex. And for everything to work well, you want to be here. When something happens that triggers your emotional brain, this starts to open, and you gradually flip your lid. And once you flip your lid, you can't think anymore. And I'm sure it's happened to you before. You're driving your car, you're here, and somebody comes and cuts you off in traffic, and then your lid is open. Or you're playing a game and somebody tackles you by accident, the lid is flipped. And the way you know your lid is flipped is that you don't think anymore. Your reactions don't make any sense. Like 5 minutes later, somebody asks you, why were you so angry with that person? What were you thinking? The truth is you weren't thinking because your lid was up. Your thinking brain was not working. So the first thing I wonder is, was there a situation this past week or recently where you feel like your lid was either all the way flipped or Almost. Think about it. Was there a situation last week or recently where you felt like your lid was almost flipped or completely flipped? For me, I can give a simple example. When I got on the call and I saw nobody's face, my lid started going like this. But thankfully, I told you guys. So, anybody, tell me, did your lid flip this past week?
Well, my father is in the background. He has a call, but I definitely my lid definitely flipped when I was with a group of friends I didn't know. So I was like, so when that happens, I get like nervous and I don't know what to say, so I start laughing. And so when that happens, I feel like my lid definitely opens.
So I love that example because it is so simple, but it's so real. If you see somebody who gets anxious because they are in front of strangers, but then you don't have that problem, you know what you shouldn't do is tell them, come on, snap out of it, snap out of it. Because when your lid is being flipped, your emotional brain, again, is thinking that it is the same danger as if a lion wanted to eat you. So if your brain already thinks a lion wants to eat you, and somebody gets in your face and starts screaming or yelling or snapping their fingers, do you think it's helping your lid come back down or it's making it worse? Making it terribly worse. So that's why when somebody's having a lid kind of open situation, no matter what's causing it for them, you can't really tell them that it makes no sense to feel like that because the part of their brain that understands what making sense even means doesn't work. So I'm glad you gave that simple example. Anybody else? Was there a situation where your lid flipped or was about to flip recently?
For me, last night during the Super Bowl, the power went out,
Oh,
and I got pretty mad because it was in the uh still in the second quarter, and I wanted to see what was going on. But I realized I had to just calm down. I knew it would come back on, and we'd be able to watch it. It wasn't too big of a deal.
again, another great example because now that your lid is back here, you can tell it's not too big of a deal. But when it happens, you don't really think about it. And we're wired to be that way. That's why if I have this marker and if I were with you face to face and I threw this marker your way, you would have one or three reactions. One, you would hit the marker or try to hit it without thinking. Two, you would try to duck, dodge. And three, you would stare at the marker, or the marker would gradually come closer and closer and closer to your nose, and you wouldn't move until it hit you. So those are the fight, flight, freeze responses that your brain is wired to do automatically. And no matter, even if you are prepared, your brain is still likely to react that way. So what I want to do is take maybe 20, 30 seconds to do some mindful breathing like we practiced last time. What I told you guys last time was that when you do mindful breathing, you don't breathe from your chest. Because if you breathe like this, that's shallow. And I'm sure you've seen somebody who was very anxious and stressed, and they were like, I can't believe that that's what's going on because they're not actually breathing from the belly. So when we practice mindful breathing, it's from the belly. So when we do breathing in, you're going to fill your belly as much as you can, and then you're going to exhale either through your nose or your mouth. It's up to you, right? So if it helps, you can put your hands on your belly. If not, just make sure you fill your belly. So let's take 10 deep breaths together. That's all we're going to do. So 3, 2, 1, belly. Another one. Keep going. Continue. As you do this, see if you can exhale for about twice as long as you inhale. So if you inhale for a count of 1, 2, try to exhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Too deep or last one. Okay. Thanks for doing that with me. And I want to practice this every single week just because I want to show you that this is what many high performing athletes um, and just performers in general do in order to calm the emotional brain so they can think, because they know that just being nervous before the game, before the presentation, before the test flips your lid. So I'm going to show you a video and I'm going to talk about it. The video is about mindfulness. But the first thing I wonder is, when you hear the word mindfulness, what comes to your mind? What does that mean? What is mindfulness to you? Like, is there one word that comes? Is there a phrase, a sentence, an idea? You can let me know either by unmuting yourself or in the chat.
I think of meditation
Mm-hmm.
mostly, or breathing, like we just practiced.
Yeah, meditation, breathing, being calm, as Sophie is saying. Um, and and what I want to encourage you guys to do is to think about everything we discuss here and find a way to use it right away to improve your life. If you can't use it right away, we're doing something wrong. So I'm going to show you a video on mindfulness. I made this video myself, and I made the video because when COVID hit and I was no longer able to travel to go work with people, somebody asked me, "Hey, can you make a video so we can watch it, even though you can't travel?" So I made a video where I explain what mindfulness is. So I want you guys to watch it, and then when you watch it, think about the meaning of mindfulness, but think about ways in which you might be able to apply mindfulness in your own life. Again, it's only 3 minutes short video. Think about what mindfulness means and think about how you can apply mindfulness in your own life. After we watch the video, I'm going to put you guys in small groups to have a conversation. So sharing screen, desktop 2. All right, let's watch the video. So I want to make a video today about why mindfulness matters. So why does mindfulness matters to me? So a couple of things. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is two things. It is being here in the moment and aware of that present moment, and it is being non-judgmental. Let's unpack those two things. Being here in the moment. That means when it comes to yourself, learning how to be and sit with yourself and your own thoughts and notice what it is that's happening inside your mind and in your body at any given time. That may be when you are about to do something a little stressful, or when you're about to have a conversation, or when you're just sitting watching TV. Learning how to just listen to your own thoughts is really, really important, and a lot of people don't practice that enough. So that's one way of thinking about being here in the moment. But if you step outside of yourself and include other people, it's also the same as being present when somebody is talking to you, for example. So mindful listening means that when somebody's saying something, you aren't just thinking about what you want to say about what they're saying. You really are just slowly taking it in and listening to them. And think about one more example of being here in a moment. Think about the athlete, the sprinter, who is down on his knee and is about to go and start sprinting. He's waiting for that gun to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go. No matter what's happening during those 5 seconds, the chants, like the fans screaming their names and chanting, they can't really focus on that because they're in the zone, in the here and the now. There's a lot of power to learning how to do that. So that's being here in the moment. The second tenet of mindfulness is being non-judgmental. Now, this one has to go with the first one, because if you listen to yourself, if you get inside your head and become aware of those thoughts, often they make you uncomfortable. You may not be happy or proud of the thoughts that you have. You may not be happy or proud of the reactions that you have to the external things that are coming inside. So it's important to not judge yourself, right? Mindfulness only works if you are here, now, aware, and non-judgmental. Now, when you don't judge yourself, then you realize, okay, I just noticed what was going on. Now I can do something about it. And that's the power of mindfulness. Notice that you are aware of what's going through your mind or how your body is responding. Don't judge what you learn about yourself, and then learn how to respond. Same thing for other people.
Be aware, notice, don't judge, and learn how to deal with it. When you add neuroplasticity, which essentially means that the more you do it, the better you become, it's like a superpower. So mindfulness essentially is the difference between somebody who, under stress, knows how to remain calm, think, and make a decision that's going to be helpful, or somebody who panics anytime anything happens. So which one would you want to be? I personally know people who actually would have had a better life, better circumstances, had they learned how to be mindful and actually be present in the moment, non-judgmental, and control those thoughts. So I think being mindful is essentially having a superpower. So that's why I think that mindfulness matters. I hope that makes sense.
All right. So I'm going to put you guys in small groups. I want you guys to talk about this. From the video, what did you understand that mindfulness means? And then two, how do you think you can apply that and use that in your own life, one way or another? Again, what does mindfulness mean from the video? And two, how do you think you can apply that to your life? You're going to talk to somebody in your group for about 6-7 minutes. Then we're going to come back and share with the whole group. So when you get the invite, accept the invite, and then we see you guys here in about 6 minutes. Even the adults are going to be put in the room, so let's go. Okay, you should be getting an invite now. Okay, timer. Oh, and Mindy, I got your message, so I'm definitely gonna make that connection for them when we come back. Oh, you're on mute. I'm not sure if you're speaking, but you're muted.
Just that, Bodie Miller was saying the same thing last week, really about performance and about really breathing techniques. And, I think the more we can actually, thread that narrative for the students, the better it is. Just say, linking the kind of education we're doing, in and outside of the classroom setting for our students.
Mm-hmm. Will do.
And you see Sophie, she said being calm was something that she thought about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
So you do want people to say Dido, not Dido, right?
Yeah, Dido. Yeah. I said Dido is the lady from England, and I'm Dido.
Actually, Dido is, the Queen Dido, right? From the Odyssey.
Huh.
Yeah, she actually, got abandoned by Odysseus, and she was so upset that she died, and, just basically in a swirl of her own tears. So
One more reason why
betrayed by her lover. So no, you don't want to be Dido.
Exactly. One more reason why I'm very comfortable being Dido, not Dido.
Yeah, I think Dido is better.
It's too much drama with this whole Dido thing.
I totally think you're right. I mean, she got abandoned by her lover. She had, given up so much to be with him, and then he decides he wants to go back home, and
dramatic,
leaves her.
Not good. Bodie Miller, is that how you say it name? Bodie?
Bodie Miller. Yeah.
Olympic skier.
Yeah. And he has a partnership with the school and has actually some students who are, coming through sort of his academy, and we offer the online academic part of, the education. So our students here, many of them have these very specific talents and passions.
Mhm.
And they work with specific coaches or with individuals who can help them maximize their talent, whether it be in sports, whether it be in like entrepreneurship, whether it's in music, and then they do the sort of academic schooling part with us at ICL. So
That's awesome. So this is so fitting then.
it really is. You're absolutely right. And so the program is so neat in that the academic program is self-paced, so it's synchronous and asynchronous. We have teachers who meet with them for live seminars once a week. We have office hours, but the program is really tailored to the students' own pacing and learning style. So
Okay.
it's like kind of in a way it's blown up the way we really think about education, right?
Mhm.
And we're kind of paving a different way of offering a learning landscape and a learning modality. So
Yeah, I mean, all the research that I've done on intrinsic motivation go to three simple things that are key that and that have to be together. And the first one is a sense of autonomy,
mhm.
um, before the sense of belonging, and then competency.
Yeah,
So that autonomy is key because as as soon as especially a kid feels like they're being made to do something, they're being forced or pushed to follow a certain path, automatically their brain just wants to fight that.
yeah.
So there's something about the idea of, hey, I want to do it at this space. I chose to be here to come to this seminar. So you guys are right there. That's awesome.
And also, I think too, for what you're offering us too, in many ways, we're trying to create community and sense of belonging, and the many times that we can do that in different ways for students to feel connected, to belong, and to participate and learn from each other, we think that's a win, in any environment. So
Exactly. So I'm
I'm
with
mindful of time. Are you keeping the
yes,
time? Okay.
yep. Putting them back now. Let's see. Welcome back. All the breakout rooms are going to close in 30 seconds. Not sure if we're all back here yet. Let's see. Okay, I think we're all here. Okay, so what did you guys talk about? What did you or somebody in your group say about what mindfulness mean and how they can use it in their own life?
My group, we kind of talked about how like mindfulness was like non-judgmental and how being open to others and then like not judging yourself so much.
I'm going to keep what I want to say to the end because I want you guys to kind of add to what you guys to each other. Either add or just say what you guys talked about.
I agree with you, Sophie, because sometimes it's a lot easier to be hard on yourself rather than practice mindfulness and just be in the moment because it's easier, you know? And sometimes we just have to push ourselves in order to not have stress in our lives or anxieties, stuff.
Thanks, Alexia. Anybody else? Either add to what she said or say what you guys talked about in your group.
I said that we can fire up our like five senses because if we have like control of them, we can use the way we want it, like we wanted them to behave. So that is what I said.
Control. Loving it. Keep adding, guys.
I was in a group with Sophie, and I said that if you're too harsh on yourself and too judgmental, you're not going to give yourself time, like space to grow as a person.
I hope you guys are. I mean, I have goosebumps just listening to what you guys are saying, because if you guys can internalize these things at this age, you can ask the adults in the group right now. They can tell you you're going to save. I mean, years. I can't even imagine. So I'm really, really happy to hear you guys say these things. Mindfulness is very simple. The one that everybody knows is being here in the moment, in the now. But you guys speak on the second part, which is extremely important: non-judgment. Non-judgment. And unfortunately, we judge ourselves even harsher than other people. So the best way to practice non-judgment starts with practicing it on yourself. What does that mean? It's as simple as this. If you decide to take 60 seconds to just be quiet and be with yourself, practice doing that and notice the thoughts that come to your mind. Often those thoughts aren't going to be positive thoughts. But what you want to do is not get rid of them, because they're going to be there. Learn how to just notice them and deploy zero judgment. Just practice that. Practice sitting there, notice the thoughts that come. If they're negative, give them a split second of attention. And just be like, huh, it's interesting, and then move on. It's as simple as that, because the more you do it, the more you actually change your brain to realize that not everything that goes through your mind actually matters. There are lots of things that are going to be on your mind that just aren't important. They serve like no purpose except to distract you. So the more you can learn how to see them and not judge yourself, the better. Here's an example. Before you start a game, before you start a race, before you start a speech, think about how often you hear your own voice telling you that you're not ready, telling you that these people don't want to listen to you, telling you that you can't win. I mean, your own voice. So the more you practice hearing that voice and be like, yeah, okay, zero judgment, the better you get. And I've done that for so long that my brain is actually different. Like things that would get most people down just don't faze me. They don't faze me not because I don't experience them. I experience them, but I've trained myself to be non-judgmental. That's really important. Some people think that people who are happy, successful, just have a better life because they don't have problems or they don't have negative self-thought. Not true. You can ask anybody you look up to, any adults, anybody that you admire, they have the same negative thoughts in their mind. They have the same problems, but they've worked on noticing and not judging. Once you can do that for yourself, guess what? Then you're ready to not judge other people. Then you realize, oh, if this is how I get ready for a competition, that doesn't mean that she has to do it that way or he has to do it that way. We're all different, but it starts with yourself. Non-judgment of self, non-judgment of others. Is there any thought on that? I want to encourage the adults also in a meeting. If there's anything that's important that you want to share along the same lines to reinforce this idea for the kids, I welcome that. And I'm going to make the point too. I was talking to Mindy. You guys had Bodie Miller, Olympic skier, who apparently talked about this very idea of using the breath. And it's the same stuff. You use the breath to get out of your own head. You use the breath to calm your emotional brain. And one thing I think I said last time about the emotional brain is that it is wired to see the negative first. So your first thoughts about yourself, about your performance, about your situation are usually going to be negative. So you need to practice noticing them and then just say, it's like rain. If it rains and you had plans to go to the beach and you get mad at the rain, what exactly does that accomplish? Think about the rain. Like, so it's raining. Gosh, I had plans to go to the beach. Now it's raining. Now I'm all mad. I'm going to curse the sky. Like that has zero impact on the rain. Like, none. So what you want to do is something as simple as, I have plans to go to the beach. It's raining. Yep. Move on. So that yep is a good way to practice non-judgment. Because if you start like, oh, what does that mean? I'm never going to be able to go practice or to go swimming. Why is it always raining when I want to go have a good time? You start spiraling. And the more you do that, I'm going to show you guys a video in a few minutes on neuroplasticity. The more you do that, the more your brain learns to focus more on the negative as opposed to the opposite. So again, I'm going to stop here and open up again for, is there any comment on that? Anything you want to add, whether it be the students or the adults? Floor is open.
I want to say that I feel like each day, well, sometimes I do, but like I feel each day we don't realize that we judge ourselves a lot when when it's like school time, and then suddenly at the end of the day, you just did probably one work, and then I feel like I do this a lot, and I'm like, I didn't do enough. And then you start like spiraling and giving like a domino effect. Oh, if I don't do this, I didn't do this, and then I'm the problem in this situation, and then I start like spiraling, and now, oh, I'm gonna fail, or this is gonna happen, and I feel like judges oneself a lot each day.
I agree. I mean, like, for me, I always, like, even, like, doing homework, but, like, while I'm doing it, I judge myself saying, like, I got this wrong and it was so simple. This is something I should be able to understand and I don't understand it. So, like, I definitely understand where you're coming from.
And the reason why this is so interesting to me is that when you allow your brain to go there, then the part of your brain that would know the answers, that would do the thinking, that would know how to do the homework, that part of your brain is then affected and it doesn't work well anymore. So essentially, the part of your brain that would come to the rescue, when you allow yourself to hop on that train of negativity, you are distancing yourself more and more from your thinking brain. And this is like magic if you understand it. I hope you guys are with me. That's why I call it a superpower, because now you realize it's like somebody who has their cell phone in their hands and is looking for their cell phones. Like, I can't believe I lost my phone again. Like, every single time I want to use my phone, I can't find it. The whole time it's here. What's happening is because they hop on that negative train, the part of the brain that would be like, okay, where would be the first place to look for your cell phone? Maybe your hand, I don't know. That part of the brain is slowly going offline because what's coming online is the negativity. And again, super simple, but I promise you, if you can just practice this, notice the second you feel yourself having a reaction, take a deep breath. And then try again. As simple as that. You just went from having a mind full to being mindful. Again, a mind full to being mindful. I'm going to show you a video on neuroplasticity that's going to recap everything we just said and the power of practice. Once we're done with that video, we're going to debrief and then we're going to be done. Okay. Neuroplasticity. I gotta share my screen with you guys. Share screen. Oh. All right, let's watch this and then let's debrief together. Can you guys see the actual video, or can you see like the notes and all that?
For me, it's split screen.
You can see a split screen? Mm-hmm. That's weird.
Do you want to put it maybe in presentation mode?
Yeah, that's what I did, but hold on. Oh, I got it. I'm going to use the second. Okay, desktop too. All right, here we go. Good now?
No,
okay.
It's just the video.
Okay, perfect. Let's watch it.
This is Austin Neighbor. He has set world records for cup stacking. Nothing you are about to see has been sped up in any way. Austin, that was terrific. How long have you been practicing this?
2 years and 10 months.
And how do you practice every day?
Yep.
How many hours?
At least 3 or 4.
And when you first started this, how fast could you do it?
2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
To do the same routine you were just doing?
Yeah, the cycle.
Okay. And how quickly can you do it now?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Wow, that's quite an improvement. So when you're doing that, are you thinking about what you're doing?
Not really.
You're just letting your hands do the work?
Mm-hmm.
Watching Austin stack cups, you might expect that his brain is working overtime. Having to coordinate these complex actions so quickly, it seems like his brain must be burning a lot of extra energy. God, that was amazing. But the real story is not quite that simple. To gain a better insight into what's happening here, we have to peek inside the brain. Austin, how does the cap feel on you?
Good.
The skull caps we're being fitted with are devices for measuring electroencephalography, or EEG. They read electrical signals from the scalp to reveal clues about the activity going on inside the brain. Conductive gel is injected at various points to help boost the signal. So all the lights on your head are turning green, which is good. There's a good connection there. With both of us rigged up, we now have a window into the electrical world within our brains. So now we're going to race. And we can see how much effort it takes our brains to cup stack. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Set, go. Looking at the EEG, we can see that my brain is working full tilt. My conscious mind is actively searching for ways to best perform this task and figuring out what to do next. It means there's a lot of electrical activity happening in my brain and a lot of energy being expended. In contrast, Austin's brain is serene. Despite the speed and complexity of what he's doing, his brain is in an almost rest-like state. Right there behind you. So how is he able to do this? Austin's talent is a result of physical changes in his brain. During his years of practice, a specialized set of connections has been formed. He's carved the skill of cup stacking into the structure of his neurons. This allows Austin's brain to perform this task rapidly and efficiently. As we learn new skills, they change the structure of our brains. They move from software to become part of the hardware of the mind. It means Austin can even do this blindfolded. When we practice new skills, we physically hardwire them. Some people talk about this as muscle memory, but it doesn't have anything to do with our muscles. All the changes are orchestrated across the vast seas of our brain.
So, what do you guys think?
He's talented.
He's talented? Mm-hmm. Say more. Talk to me. What else? What came to your mind as you were watching that?
I mean, it's interesting how he worked on it for so long and it was kind of embedded in his brain that it doesn't need to work hard. It's just like movements he has to make. Like compared to the other guy, he was actually like concentrating too hard or focusing too hard. But him, it was just like as if it was just like flowing.
Yes. Yes. Anybody wants to add to that? Because that's exactly the point. Somebody add to that, please. Go ahead, Charlotte.
It was really interesting how the statement that he said that the skill had been carved into the structure of the brain.
So this is why I love brain science. This is like doing bicep curls with your neurons. It's not, the more you do it, the more your brain actually literally changes. And it's not just about things like stacking cups. It's about being mindful. It's about being a critical thinker. It's about practicing not judging yourself, not judging other people, practicing every time you're about to have an emotional reaction, take a deep breath, like all those things, you actually change yourself. So when you've seen somebody who you do something to upset them intentionally or not, and they just don't respond or don't react, it's because their brain is literally different. It's not because they have better genes than anybody. You can rewire your brain. Like anybody who's alive can change their brain. So if what you want to do is be more patient, for example, more focused on what you're doing, less judgmental of yourself, like all these soft skills can be hardwired, like carved in your brain. So what I want you guys to do as we close out is to start thinking about one simple thing that you want to start changing in the way you do things. And it can be anything, right? And I always practice with silly things. Here's one thing I used to practice with. My phone used to connect to my car directly. And so as soon as I get into my car, my phone got connected and then it started playing a song. I couldn't stand it. I was like, it's like 6 a.m. in the morning and I get in the car, it just connects automatically and just like start playing loud music. And I sensed that this is something that was really, really triggering me. The second that would happen, it would change my mood. I said, you know what? I'm going to let this thing be and practice. Anytime that connection happens and I'm about to lose it, take a deep breath, slow down, and calmly disconnect it. Just doing that week after week. It's something so simple, so silly, but again, biceps curls, because I'm practicing that tool. It's the same thing as if when somebody sits on your favorite couch or your favorite sofa or whatever, you just always feel offended. Like, but that's where I sit. Practice allowing somebody else to sit there without getting mad. Or there's a favorite cup that you have for coffee. It's like, everybody knows this is my cup. Why are you always taking it? Practice with things that don't have any serious consequences, because even though it's simple and it seems silly, it's the same muscle that your brain is using. So choose something this week and spend the entire week just practicing having a different reaction. And when I see you guys next time, hopefully you can share with me what the experience has been like. So we have like, usually it's 45 minutes. We can go a little over, but I want to stop here for anybody who has any questions or anybody who needs to run. But thank you for being present. And I really hope that you guys can take something from this and practice during the week.
Thank you, Dido. And I hope everybody, you have a wonderful week and we get to see you again next week, right? So that we can
I don't know if
practice.
they had one. I think next Monday is holiday. Yeah, no, we skipped next Monday. The next one's on the 22nd because next Monday is President's Day.
Okay. Well, we have another scheduled. And so I hope everybody remembers what Dido told us about the neuroplasticity of the brain and how we really can create these connections. And also how, I love that metaphor of the rain. I mean, bad things are things that are, conflicting are going to happen to us. But what we can change is the way we react to them, right?
I love that. Take that line, please. Take that line. You do not always control the things that happen to you or around you, but you 1000% control how you respond. 1000%. If you can't do it, it means you can't do it yet. You will be able to do it if you practice it. Again, you don't always control the things that happen around you or to you, but you 1000% control how you respond. If you can't do it, you can't do it yet, but you will be able to do it with practice. So take that.